All right, let's skip the sugarcoating. If you're thinking about moving to Charlotte or just trying to get a grip on what life actually looks like here in 2025, this is not going to be your typical Southern Charm and Sweet Tea tour. The version of Charlotte that you saw in last year's videos, it's gone. We're talking billion-dollar buildings rising out of old warehouses. Neighborhoods you've never even Googled are now outcooling South End. Entire districts are being redesigned so that you never have to leave your own block. And if you don't know where to look, you'll miss it all while everyone else cashes in. This A to Z guide is your no BS blueprint to what's changed, where the city's headed, and the spots that locals are trying to keep quiet for now. And in a few seconds, I'll show you the one Charlotte neighborhood that's quietly rewriting the rules. Cheaper than it should be, walkable before it was trendy, and poised to explode. Most people drive right past it and have no idea what they're missing. You're not watching this to get the same list of breweries and beltlines everyone else regurgitates. You're here because Charlotte's on your radar, and you want the real breakdown. What's shifting, what's next, and what most people are still sleeping on. Charlotte doesn't sit still. Entire neighborhoods are flipping. Price points are creeping, and the people who are paying attention early, they're the ones walking away with better homes, smarter deals, and fewer regrets. This guide isn't just about where to live, it's about how to move here with your eyes wide open. If you care about value, lifestyle, and not getting burned by a glossy listing, this is where you start. Think Charlotte's still the budget-friendly city that everyone talks about? In a second, you'll see exactly where that's true and where that myth completely falls apart. People love to say that you need a car to live in Charlotte. And yeah, if you're 40 minutes out in the burbs, that's still true. But if you know where to look, that's not the full story anymore. I mean, South End's a perfect example. You can walk up, grab a coffee at Not Just Coffee, walk the rail trail past 3 breweries, 2 yoga studios, and a dog park that honestly feels more active than most gyms. And you haven't even touched your car yet. People aren't just walking here because it's cute, they're walking because it's actually a place that makes sense. You've got mid-rise apartments over restaurants, condos with skyline views, and side streets with townhomes that still feel like a neighborhood. Now, if you cut across to Optimist Park, it's got more of that raw, creative vibe. It's not polished, but that's kind of the draw. You've got Optimist Hall, where people post up with laptops all day and then stay for drinks without moving tables. There are rooftops, new builds, light rail stops right there. It's close to Uptown, but it doesn't feel like Uptown. It feels local. Villa Heights? That's where people end up after they've outgrown the noise, but still want to be 5 minutes from everything. You've got a mix of bungalows with character and sleek new builds with rooftop decks and front porches and backyards that aren't just decorative. The Hobbyist, which we've been to already, is right around the corner, and you can walk into Noda without having to live inside of the chaos. The thing is, these aren't just flukes. The city's pushing this hard. The 2040 plan, the zoning shifts, the bike lanes, they're building out neighborhoods where you can actually live and not just exist between errands and work. It's slow sometimes in some of these areas, sure, but the pieces are coming together. If you're watching this thinking, that sounds like a life, but I have no idea where I'd fit, that's where we come in. Our real estate team knows the city down to the block. We've helped people land homes where they can walk to their morning coffee, hit the trail at lunch, and don't remember the last time they dealt with a left turn on Providence. All of the info is in the description below, so call, text, email, whatever works. And now, you just need to see what's coming next. I'm talking skyline changes, entire new districts, and developments that will literally change the way that people use this city. This isn't some distant plan, it's already going vertical. You want to see a city mid-glow up? Look around. Charlotte's not growing, it's mutating. The skyline's getting pierced by new towers every time you drive by, and the neighborhoods, they're shifting under your feet. That empty stretch between Uptown and South End, forget it. It's now the Iron District. 55 acres of live here, work here, eat noodles and ride the light rail home kind of living. You've got glass and brick, mid-rises stacked on top of restaurants, co-working, shops, and bars that you haven't even heard of yet, but you will. It's dense, it's built for walking, and it cuts through the city like a pulse. 5 years ago, no one wanted to even walk in that corridor. Now people are dropping 6 figures just to get in line for it. Midtown, where we are right now, a whole new beast. What used to be a fast food and office lot blur is becoming the Pearl, a live and learn ecosystem anchored by Charlotte's first 4-year medical school right over here. Research labs, life sciences, apartments with skyline views, food halls, and it's already reshaping who moves here, where they work, and what they expect from a neighborhood. Keep heading east, and suddenly you're in Plaza Midwood, where the vibe flips fast. Commonwealth is bringing 12 acres of retail, mural walls, apartments, all above buzzy restaurants and live music echoing off brick. It still has that Plaza weird in the best way personality, but now there's a string-lit courtyard with a bar where people are closing laptops and ordering craft mezcal cocktails before 3 o'clock. This isn't a makeover, it's a level up. Don't sleep on South Charlotte either. Providence Square is pulling its own flex. Walkable retail, upgraded infrastructure, and actual green space, all wrapped around townhomes and single-family builds that don't feel boxed in. There's a rhythm to it that's calmer, more local. You're not trying to chase a scene here. You're living somewhere that just works. Wine bar one direction, playground the other, groceries, and a 2-minute walk. No parking garage roulette. That's a tongue twister, say that one 3 times fast. No 45-minute errands. Every one of these zones is shifting property values, redefining what central means, and making certain zip codes way more competitive. This isn't a 5-year plan, it's already mid-build, already selling, and already changing how people move through the city. South End had its moment. Plaza got the spotlight, but the next wave, it's happening in silence. The smart neighborhoods are moving before the hype, and we're heading straight into that. Charlotte's nightlife flipped the script. It's not just about grabbing a beer anymore. Now it's a whole vibe where food, games, music, and drinks collide in places you actually want to stick around. Walk into Pins Mechanical in Loso and it hits like a party that never quite ended. Bourbon slushies in one hand, battling it out on skee ball or cornhole with your crew, while early 2000s hip-hop blasts overhead. It's chaotic, loud, and somehow feels like home if your home had an arcade and a bar. South End keeps the heat burning strong. At Queaton Park Social or Slingshot, you're tossing axes 1 minute and stuffing your face with Korean fried chicken the next. You don't come here to sit still. You come here to throw down, laugh, and maybe get a little competitive. It's a mashup of rowdy and chill, all rolled into one warehouse with a bar. Camp North End, that tells its own story too. The smell of wood-fired pizza mixes with fresh espresso and the murmur of live music. Vendors selling everything from leather wallets to vinyl records make it feel like a neighborhood that grew up overnight. No schedule, no agenda, just people hanging out and soaking up something special. Even South Park Mall, yeah, the mall, is shedding its old skin. It's no longer just a place to shop. It's where people meet for coffee, catch rooftop wine tastings, or hang out at the pop-up art events. The vibe is lighter, more social, like a small town square that somehow got a high-end makeover with tons of luxury shopping. What's wild is how these spots aren't just destinations, they're anchors for entire neighborhoods. People who live near these hubs find themselves walking more, driving less, and falling into a rhythm that makes the city feel smaller and more connected. There was this couple who moved near Camp North End and barely touched their car for weeks. Grocery runs, brunch spots, live music, all just steps from their front door. That's the kind of living that turns weekends into memories without the hassle. If you felt like you're always rushing somewhere, these neighborhoods, they flip the script. The city's not just about where you sleep, it's about how you live, and that is changing really fast. If you're vibing with this deep dive into Charlotte's scene so far, drop a comment and let us know. What's your go-to spot? Are you all about late night dumplings and live music at Camp North End, or more into axe throwing and cocktails in South End? We're reading every reply, and yes, we might roast the boring takes. You probably don't hear much about Optimist Park, and honestly, that's how people here like it. Not long ago, it was all warehouses and, let's be honest, parking for folks who couldn't find a spot uptown on Panthers game days. Fast forward, and suddenly you're grabbing bagels at North Carolina Bagel Company on a Saturday morning, or jumping off the Blue Line for a quick beer at Birdsong Brewing. There's always that one guy in a Hornets jersey insisting that Not Just Coffee makes the best cortado in the city, and he might not be wrong. Villa Heights keeps things low-key, but don't let the quiet fool you. Porch swings are real seating, not just decoration. The block parties get so big that they practically spill into Midwood. And if you move here and don't get dragged to a Friday night at the Hobbyist, right there, for trivia, where nobody remembers who actually won, you're doing it wrong. It's a mix of old neighbors, new builds, and people who actually wave when they walk by. And no Midwood snub energy here. Out by the river district is basically Charlotte's best kept, not so secret. Locals will swear that you can still find spots under the radar, but it is filling up fast. The running joke is everyone moves here for the trails and ends up buying a kayak that they use twice, except for my buddy Mark. He has become the unofficial Riverwalk tour guide. Greenways, sunset views off your balcony, and neighbors who think that grilling is a competitive sport. Historic West End, Savona Mills, the heart of it. Where else can you grab a flat white at Hex Coffee and end up debating with the muralist who makes the best pimento cheese in Charlotte? The answer is always Reed's, but you'll never win that argument. The arts crowds mixing with young families, and every block has stories that realtors don't even know. These neighborhoods aren't just Charlotte's future, they're Charlotte's inside jokes, shortcuts, and I can't believe you haven't tried this place moments. People getting in now are banking stories, not just equity. And don't blink, because once you see how life changes when you can ditch your car and actually walk to everything, like everyone that's been walking by, you'll realize that Charlotte's got a whole new definition of home base. Walk into the Pearl at 8 a.m. and you're not just in a coffee line, you're in the new living room of Charlotte. This is where mornings start, ideas get traded, and you realize half your neighbors aren't bankers anymore. Last Tuesday, the place felt like a mix of lab coats, laptops, and someone's dog dozing under a table. When your commute is a 5-minute stroll to this kind of buzz, you don't just feel connected, you feel like you're plugged in to what's next. Commonwealth? That's the kind of neighborhood where you can actually live upstairs from the ramen pop-up that you eat at every Thursday and see your neighbor's mural progress every week from your kitchen window. Apartments and condos are built for real life. Balcony doors flung open, impromptu after-work gatherings on shared patios. Someone's always moving in with a giant plant and a new story. Camp North End doesn't really care if you're a morning person or a night owl. There's always something pulling you out of your door. The crack of dawn, you're tripping over vintage markets while someone with an iced coffee is already negotiating for a typewriter. By noon, a parade of food trucks has the air smelling like 5 different countries all at once. And there's a crew of bikes scouting out the newest mural. Afternoons spill into live music sets in shipping containers or spontaneous backyard games that feel like the whole block is invited. Dinner plans? Usually on the fly. Somebody yells about a chef flipping tacos 2 courtyards over and suddenly you're eating with people that you met 10 minutes ago. It's the kind of neighborhood where just running out for a minute turns into a night full of stories that you didn't see coming. Uptown's high-rises are pulling in a new crowd. Med students, creative, tech folks, people who want to be close to Optimus Hall's Bao Buns and Birdsong Brewery's brainstorm sessions. More and more, you see sneakers and dogs at street level, folks bringing laptops out onto balconies to catch the sunset and swap takeout tips. You can literally feel the old bank energy fading as more lights flick on in these condos and the skyline glows with people building what's next for them. This isn't the Charlotte that everyone is home by 6 o'clock, hiding behind fences. This is a city where home is every block, every patio, every pop-up. Neighbors aren't just a wave away from the driveway. They're the people that you end up sharing brunch or a last-minute gallery crawl with. If you're looking for a city where your front door is the start of something every single day, this is it. The real question, which neighborhood will feel like home for you? On the ground, in the mix, and right in the path of what's next. Let's get to those corners of Charlotte where daily life gets a whole lot bigger than 4 walls. Charlotte's the kind of city where you blink and there's a new story on every corner. I still find myself wandering Camp North End late at night, chasing down that last food truck taco or ducking into a mural alley in Commonwealth just to see what's changed since last week. Sometimes I start my morning at Smelly Cat Cafe and end it with a donut from Raining Donuts in Noda. They're so freaking good, and it's always worth the detour, especially when you catch the sunrise over the train tracks or even the light rail. But if you ever spot me debating cocktail lounges or jazz bars with a neighbor, yeah, that's just how life works here. The best spots aren't marked on a map. You'll find them by getting a little lost, bumping into a few strangers, and letting the city surprise you. If you're ready to find your own spot and actually live this lifestyle, not just watch it, text or call our real estate team. We know these neighborhoods inside and out, and we'll help you land where you truly fit in. don't stop with just this video. There's a whole playlist waiting for you with deep dives on neighborhoods, hidden gems, school guides, all the real Charlotte stuff that you need to know. So hit that playlist and keep exploring. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.